Yes, good morning students. Let we can see how we can use a state variable inside the functional component. Earlier you saw how to use a state variable inside the class component. If you want to use a state variable inside the functional component means we need to have a hooks concept. You need to know the hooks concept. Let we can create a how to use a state variable inside the functional component in a simple way. First create a file counter.js file. As usual, we can import all the kind of things. Import use state within the flower bracket use state. If you want to use a state variable inside the functional component means we need to use a use state. Use state is a method of hooks. It is a method of hooks. So if you want to use a state function inside the functional component means we need to know the hooks concept. So use state. If you want to use a state variable inside the functional component means we should have to import. We should have to import use state from the React. The first step is we should have to import the use state from React function and then function name to create a stateless component means it is a functional component. So function name const within the square bracket. Within the square bracket we need to specify the state variable, that is count comma state variable function, state function. You can particular for that particular specific there will be a state function. Okay, count is a state variable and this will be the handler for particular state variable. Equal to use state. By using the use state we can create a state variable in the functional component. Use state, and by passing the initial value, for the state variable, that is 0. 0 is the initial value for the count. Count is a state variable. Understood, right? So functional component only it will be have a return statement. It will be have a return statement. It will be return the HTML content to the UI. So inside this we have the HTML content and displaying the count colon within the interpolation within the flower bracket we are we are giving count. Count is a state variable. What is the value of the count? Initial value of the count state variable 0. So it will be count colon. It will be display the 0 button. Next we have button, that is button on click. On click means to perform the event. When the button will be click user, there will be arrow function. This is called a handler function. We can call shortly arrow function. Set count. Set count is what? It is a specific for the function for the state function. It is a state function for the particular state variable. It will be the state function for the particular state variable. If you want to update means by using that particular function set count of count, that particular state variable we are updating by using that particular function for updating the particular state variable, set count of count plus 1. So every time whenever the user will click the button, it will be count state variable will be incremented by 1. Okay, so we can use in the UI. Let we can say first we should have to import where you are using. First I am going to importing it in the app.js. So import counter. Okay, counter. Here only you can close, no issue. Let we can save it, and even also in this also let we can save it. Open the browser localhost 3000. See the output. This will be created by using counter.js file. Okay. Whenever whenever the user count is what is the value of the count? What is this count? Count is a state variable. The initial value of count is 0. Displaying, we are displaying the paragraph, right? What is a state variable? Whenever the button will be clicked by user, it will the count state variable will be incremented each time. 1. So when I will click this button, it will be get incremented by 1. Again I am going to increment, it will be get incremented by 1. Again I will go to increment. Each time it will be incremented by 1 because button on click set count of count plus 1. Count is a state variable. So by using the state per function, we are incrementing the state variable by 1. Understood, right? That is a way of using the state variable. Suppose, for example, if you want to use the name comma set name. For this particular state variable name, we are using the set name is a name of the function for the particular state variable. Using you use state like this, we are passing the empty for the name. We are not giving anything. If you want to pass, you can xyz. I think the xyz will become the initial value for the name. Name is a state variable. For that particular state, there will be a function called set name. If you want to update any kind of things like count, if you want to update the count means set count. If we want to update the name is, we are using the set name. Okay. Thanks for watching the video, students. Next we can see the next video.